All right, hey VC vinyl community, how you doing? My name is Jamie, and welcome back. On this one, I thought I'd feature an album from 1967. This is an album I'd wanted to feature for a while. Came out in November 1967. When first released, not a big hit, but has since gone on to become an absolute favorite. This album, known for its kind of psychedelic pop or psychedelic folk, has been featured on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. Also, Mojo Magazine, it's featured as one of the best psychedelic or psychedelic pop albums of all time. And in 2011, in the United States, this album was included for the National Recording Registry. And not just a few tracks from the album or a track, but the whole album was included for its, of course, cultural and historic significance. Third album from this band, we're talking about Love Forever Changes. Love Forever Changes. This came out on the Elektra album label, and as you can see with the Rhino sticker there, that this is a 50th anniversary edition. This anniversary edition came out in April of this year, so even though the album came out in November 1967, 50th anniversary, just over 50, so better late than never. But this is an absolute wonderful album. When first released, not a big hit, and they really changed gears with this album. Their first two albums were a lot more electric and rockin'. For this one, they went with more strings, also horns, and kind of changed up the writing style. And Arthur Lee, the main guy with this band, and certainly writing a lot more reflective lyrics. He was certainly concerned about his either demise or certainly a lack of time on Earth, and he was also sort of anti-flower power also as well. So interesting for an album that came out in November 1967. And yeah, this is the 50th anniversary edition on Rhino Elektra, and let's open it up and see what's inside. So it opens up kind of like this. This is the paper sleeve that went on the back. And this is very much in keeping for the Doors box set reissues, same sort of style. So very nice inside. Some nice photos, and then the paper sleeve that just went on the back like that. And I put the hype sticker on that side, and then it says, numbered limited edition of 15,000, 50th anniversary deluxe edition set, 4 CDs, stereo album remastered by original producer engineer Bruce Botnick. Of course, Bruce Botnick also worked with the Doors, and as I believe I mentioned, the Doors and Love were also on the same label, Elektra Records. Singles and outtakes, including 2 rare tracks, mono version and alternate mix of the album. Also a DVD's included, and the DVD has the stereo album and rare promo film from 1968. Also a 180-gram LP, stereo remaster, and a booklet with extensive liner notes. Okay, so let's take a look at what's inside. As mentioned, opens up like this, and there you have all the CDs that are included along with the DVD, and that's on the back there. It opens up like that, and then the LP and booklet are included here. Okay, so let's take a look inside. Let's look at the album first, and as mentioned on the Elektra label, nice 180-gram. There you go. And this is an album, in terms of the first listen, you may not be right into it, but this is an album that deserves more listens and repeated listens. And then the more you listen, the more you're really getting into the album. It is a beautifully, beautifully produced album. And the booklet inside. Now, as I mentioned, this was a numbered edition. They made 15,000 copies of this box set, and interesting, they put the number nowhere on the packaging or the outer jacket. They put the number on the booklet. So this is number 4,900 of 15,000. So there you see the number there, and very much in keeping with the Doors releases. Not an extensive booklet, but certainly nice enough with lots of pictures and a decent essay, some vintage photos going on there. That's Jack Holzman. He's the founder of Elektra Records. Certainly responsible for bringing us the Doors and many great bands. And yeah, there's Arthur Lee there. And I think the band even changed gears after this one. I think most of the band members left, and Arthur Lee kind of carried on with the band Love with different players over the years. But there's a nice vintage photo of them there. So yeah, it's an album well worth checking out. To Love, and I'll hold up the album cover once again because it's a great one. Love Forever Changes from 1967. Again, what a year, 1967. When you think of the albums that came out, we've talked about this before with, you got Two Doors albums that year. This one, you've got Moody Blues, and you've got the Beatles, Pink Floyd, to name a few. Jefferson Airplane, just some of the great albums that came out that year. What a year in music. But yeah, this definitely is in the tops for that year. Love Forever Changes. Beautiful album, well worth checking out. Okay, let's change gears. We'll go back to 1965 for this one. We're talking about Roy Orbison, and this is There Is Only One Roy Orbison. And this one's significant. This was his first album for MGM Records. He had recorded for Monument, had a long list of hits on Monument, and then switched gears and was hooked up with MGM. Sadly, he released a lot of albums and a lot of good music, but the hits really kind of dried up when he made the switch to MGM. But this is his first album, and it's a nice album overall. Noted for the song Claudette. Claudette was a song that was written by Roy Orbison, but first a hit for the Everly Brothers. But then Roy decided to do a version of his own. But interesting, it wasn't released as a single. The single from this album is the track Right Away. But Claudette is often included on a lot of Roy Orbison best-ofs. But yeah, if you're looking for, all the hits with Roy Orbison, that is with the Monument Years prior to this. But he recorded a lot of albums for MGM, and I picked up the Roy Orbison MGM Years, 1965 to 1973, and this is a CD box set, which, as you can see, includes his MGM Years, all the albums he recorded for that label. This is kind of like a deep dive into Roy Orbison. Lots of great music, but if you're looking for the hits, you're really not going to find it on here. But this includes the album that I just showed you, and also he did a fair amount of cover albums. Roy Orbison sings Don Gibson, and then Roy Orbison singing the music of Hank Williams. And when you're doing country covers like that, you're not going to get a lot of hits happening, at least in pop and rock. But this is a nice CD box set, gives you lots of great music. This is the only CD box set that I've ever seen where, as you can see, the CDs are here, but this is really just a picture on the side of the box. So they have that, and then you open up, and then, of course, those are the actual CDs that are inside the box. Why they felt the need to put the picture there, but hey, it's attractive enough. And nice little booklet inside. The Roy Orbison Years. So it gives you nice write-ups on all of the albums. And this one, they also include the rarely a hard album to find, The Fastest Guitar Alive. And that was the soundtrack to a movie that also featured Roy Orbison. But that's included on this one. And yeah, so there's the booklet there. Lots of write-ups and vintage photos. And I can quickly show you some of the CDs inside. Again, they're nice album replicas, including the one that I just showed you, if I can find it. Here we go. And yeah, including the one I just showed you, Roy Orbison, and a nice replica for the album. No inner sleeves, but they simply pop the CDs in like that. And if I can, maybe I can show you just a few more of the discs inside. So you have the one that I mentioned, The Fastest Guitar Alive, Roy Orbison, from the MGM soundtrack and the MGM film. There you go. And some neat covers overall. But yeah, it's kind of a nice deep dive into Roy Orbison, but if you're looking for the hits, you're not going to find it on this one. But if you like Roy Orbison, and man, he was just a terrific vocalist, well worth checking out. Okay, we'll wrap it up with a couple of CDs that I picked up. This one, Fun Lovin' Criminals, Come Find Yourself, from 1995, or 1995 is when this came out. From New York City, kind of a nice mix of rap, R&B, but fairly good-natured. This one had the big hit, Scooby Snacks. Not necessarily my kind of music, but I do find I am enjoying this. It's got just kind of a nice attitude, but not too heavy. But yeah, Fun Lovin' Criminals. I do like that cover too. Come Find Yourself. Picked this up on disc, and I was really happy to find this one because I've certainly read about this album, hadn't had a chance to hear it. Tower of Songs, The Songs of Leonard Cohen. This came out a number of years ago, I believe 1995 as well. Quite a list of artists doing covers, and from start to finish, it's well worth it. Don Henley, Trisha Yearwood, Sting and the Chieftains, Bono. Nice to see they also include Canadian artist Jan Arden on here, but you got Billy Joel covering Leonard Cohen, also Peter Gabriel as well. This really is a great album, well worth checking out. Okay, that's going to do it for this one, and thank you to all the new subscribers. I think I'm at over 35 subscribers, and thanks so much for all the comments. Really appreciate it, and we'll chat again. Bye-bye.